Hello, everybody. Welcome to therapy. I am your co host, Neva from the Neva J podcast, and I got Houdini with me.
Hey everyone.
That's Merrick from the Merrick podcast. No, she doesn't have a podcast, but from therapy. And today, on our last week, right, of social work, like it's not the last week, but it's our last celebration for social work month. We saved the best for last. Lies. I was scrimmaging for people last minute. We got Courtney with us. Go ahead, Courtney.
Hi, everybody.
She's Courtney from Courtney. Thank you for joining us. Courtney, I know Courtney from grad school. We went to grad school together, good times. And so, yes, Courtney, is working she's a social worker, yes, working in the mental health field. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Courtney.
So I work for a psychiatric center, and I work on a child and adolescent unit. So I do individual therapy with the kids. We do groups, family therapy. So it's a lot of everything and a lot of paperwork and a lot of bullshit. So I work with kiddos while they're inpatient at the hospital and work towards discharging them back home.
Yeah. Well, I got some kiddos who need to be inpatient. I can send your way. Hey, I can send myself. So do you like what you do?
I like meeting with the kids, and I like doing the work with them. That I do enjoy, because my last job wasn't therapeutic at all. So it's nice to be able to actually use my degree for this position and get to work with kids, and it is more fulfilling. I get to kind of see them growing and seeing the positive changes that they have and learning skills to be safe, and so I do like it.
Yeah.
The other bullshit I don't like, but you get that everywhere, right?
Yeah, can't escape it. And then we have a surprise guest with us who's behind Courtney. Is that Nala or Bo?
This is Nala. That's my baby. Say hi, Nala.
Yeah, you see her face? She's like, she's not about this shit either.
I'm leaving.
I'm out.
Right? She's like, I'm not about the social work month business. Oh my gosh. But oh, that's Bo. There goes Bo. Short for Beaumont. No, it's not.
He does kind of sit like a gentleman, so I could see him having some sort of fancy name like that. Beauregard.
Beauregard. What are we sipping today?
So I just got back from the gym, so I am sipping some vodka Gatorade out of my water bottle.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice surprise if I don't wash it out well enough for the next time I work out. Like, little vodka left in there.
Running on the treadmill, you fly right off. What do you have, Merrick?
I have some pineapple juice, whipped Pinnacle vodka, and a splash of lemonade.
What? You fancy. You fancy.
Nice.
With a drink like that, you should be sipping it pinkies up.
What do you have in your cup, Neva?
I have a mango mule. I just my husband was cleaning out the deck and I made him a drink. So I made myself one too. Cause I got to support him.
That's right.
And so I made a mango mule, but basically our special for this month has been the social worker. And the social worker is whatever alcohol you got at home. That's it. Because just like our jobs, We do it all. Whatever the hell anybody needs us to do, we're doing. So that's what our drink was for this month. I was gonna ask a question, but I can't remember. I can't remember.
It had a few too many mules.
Say that again. Look at my cup. And it's like, and it literally takes a full small bottle of wine. Do you know this?
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. Someone gave me this as like when the pandemic started, we were doing like I forgot what it was, ferries of Broome County or whatever, so that like you would just go and like find addresses of people that are in close proximity to you, and then they would drop a gift off. So I came home one day and I found this and a small bottle of wine and some other stuff, and it said that the small bottle would fit in there, and I'm like, I don't believe this. So I tried it. It did. And I couldn't stand afterwards.
What does it say on it?
It says, why not? Why not? But yeah. Oh, so how did it came back to me. You see, I just needed to get a little juice in me. All right. How did your jobs celebrate Social Work Month? Or did they even know it was Social Work Month?
yeah, mine didn't. Mine didn't. I don't know if we talked about this on the last episode, but a woman from Department of Social Services, or the health department. I don't even know who it was because I didn't actually see her or meet her, but they told me at the office that she brought by a chocolate bar, it was really good chocolate, but I didn't even get to see the woman to thank her. But some fairy also came by to acknowledge Social Work Month at my school, so I'm appreciative of that. Whoever she was.
Someone outside of your building came. No one inside your building even acknowledged it, did they? No.
No.
Go ahead. What about you, Courtney?
We got an email on like the 10th because we have a social work like supervisor that oversees every social worker on the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got an email like, oh, thank you. And then I did get a pen, so that's kind of cool.
Wow.
And my direct supervisor has not acknowledged any of it. Nothing. So it was another social worker that was like, hey, happy Social Worker Month.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Oh, that's interesting. You got a pen. They probably got the pen for free at some job fair. Or had extras that they ordered for a job fair. Who knows? But it's been like, it's so weird because I feel like, I'm like, well, if you work in a setting that has a lot of social workers, it's predominantly social workers, then there'll be more of a celebration compared to a setting where you're like one of few social workers. So they don't really know. But I have found that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter the setting. Like, no one acknowledges it and no one like does anything. When we worked, how America and I met was at a job that we worked at together. I won't name names, but when we worked there, Social Work Month came and I thought, oh man, this is a job of like social workers and mental health providers. Like, it's gonna be a big thing. Nope, no one said anything. I was the only one who said something at a staff meeting. I was like, well, happy Social Work Month to all my fellow social workers. I see you. And I was the only one, and no one even like, they're like, oh, well, social work, that's a thing. Are you making that up? I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking thing. Where's my fucking omelet bar? Where's my purse?
Right. Pizza party something.
Right? Shit. We out here celebrating pajama day and all sorts of nonsense. Weird hair day. And we can't even celebrate like Social Work Month.
Right.
Yeah.
They always make a big deal of Boss's Day. Like, oh,
Right.
we got some stuff for Boss's Day. Hold on.
Administrative Assistance Day, Dr. Seuss Week, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Social workers down at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
Y'all got 30
Permanent.
days, 30 opportunities to do something.
Yes. Seriously. So we were like in our building, there's several programs. And so the social workers for another program had gotten like balloons and a bunch of stuff from like that program to celebrate them. And we're all just like watching them with their balloons. Like us social workers in our program were just like watching them with their balloons. And then they had cake or something for them, a cookie cake. And like other staff are helping themselves to the cookie cake. And then someone said to a staff member, like, where'd you get that cookie cake from? And they go, oh, I got it from this room. They're having like a celebration for like Workers' Day or some kind of day, mental health day. Like they didn't even like. And so I was walking by and I heard it. I'm like, it's social work, Mom. Don't go eat their cake and you don't even know what it's for. Like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I'm not asking for much, just a parade and an omelet bar. Like,
and a raise and vacation.
Yeah. And speaking of omelet bar, I've been asking for one when I retire this year. I've put in my 5 years. I'm ready for retirement.
That's what social work will do to you. 5 years and that's it.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme like of the of the old lady, and it says
Yeah, there's even
I understand.
It says,
What is it? I want to look it up.
it's an old lady. It said like something like, this is Sarah. She's 35 years old.
I know what you're talking about.
This is she's 35 years old and she's a social worker.
that sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. The lady's like 95.
You're just making me laugh. Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
When your friends laugh, it's funnier than the joke.
I know. Remember those days in grad school where people used to laugh at me laughing, not really at the joke? But yeah. But it's so funny because I'm like, that's about accurate. Boy, does it age you. Oh gosh. Are you looking it up, Mary?
I was trying to find it, but I don't even know how to. I can't find it.
But yeah. So do you guys like think you're going to retire from this field? Like, do you have hopes of a retirement at some point? Like, huh? Look at Courtney.
Like dreaming. You know, maybe I'll find a rich husband and then we can retire. I keep telling Bobby, I'm like, can you win the lottery already? Can we just like win a shit ton of money and not have to work ever again? That'd be great.
Yeah. So the lottery is your retirement plan.
Yeah.
It's just my hopes and dreams.
What about you, Merrick?
I finally, like, I'm motivated to retire, even though it's like 75 years away or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did this past week work to get my 403B finally like set up because, you know, I feel like in a short period of time, I guess it's been 8 years now since I've graduated and started working as a social worker in the field. It's like 2 to 3 years max at one job. So I have started, you know, a retirement, but every 2 years I'm switching jobs and needing to like get it started again with the new place of employment. So I spent some time this past week doing that at my place of employment now, which I hope to be for a very long time. So I allow my motivation to help me put things in place so I can actually someday retire.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in grad school and the professor was like, this is a great field you're all going into. Just so you know, you won't make a lot of money and you will probably work until you die. But the good thing is that you don't need to be able to see. You can be blind and still work as a social worker. You just have to be able to hear. And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? So the only prerequisite to being a social worker is being able to hear. You don't have to do anything else. You can literally just sit there.
That's hilarious. Oh gosh. But I know like a lot of social workers that are out of the field and are retired, I notice they do not know how to do retirement properly. Like they're over here working per diem, like doing these like, like doing all these other things on the side. And I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, let's switch places. I know I can do retirement right. If you know, I can do it right if you're like over here. But it's just like the mentality of the work, like the work that we do. It's like a lot of people feel like they're most productive when they're busy and they're doing something. So as social workers, it's like when you're chilling and not doing something, you feel like the day's just going by and you're not being productive. And a lot of people attach productivity with like it helps in their self-esteem and their like self-worth or whatever. So a lot of them who are retired are not really retired. And I'm just like, come on.
Yeah. I think too, like we have a need to like be needed. Like we want to be needed. We want to be helpful. And so when social workers retire, it's like, oh, I'm not needed. Like I'm not helping anyone right now. And there's a need for us to help.
Yeah. Well, you know, Netflix needs us.
Yeah.
Our couch needs us.
Exactly.
Sit your ass down and watch some Netflix.
The umbrella drinks on the beach need us.
Right. Who's keeping these people in business if we're not there? Right. We're helping the economy here. But I think you are right, Merrick, though. It's like you go into this field because it's like you want to help people. And feeling like you're doing that, you get your self-worth from that. And so when you're not doing it, you just start to like feel like, what is my life, you know? Yeah.
It's even hard sometimes, like just coming home. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, can't be a shitty person. I gotta do the laundry. I gotta do this. I gotta clean. I can't, like I feel guilty sometimes. I'm like just sitting and watching TV I still do it, don't get me wrong. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I should be doing other things. I should be being productive.
Right.
Yeah. So even when we are relaxing, it's like we're not completely relaxing because we're thinking about what we should be doing and we're feeling guilty for trying to relax.
Right.
We're sick. We're sick.
We are sick.
We're sick.
That's why we help the sick, because we're sick.
We can understand them pretty well.
Right. So that's like, and that like you saying that, Merrick, brings up the topic that you were telling me yesterday about. Go ahead, the like people with the mental. You look like the topic.
Oh my God. No, I was just talking to Neva about like in our work. Obviously we're aware of like mental illness, but then sometimes we come across other social workers or other coworkers that may not be social workers, and we identify a mental illness like within them. And you know, how to deal with that and how to, you know, support them, obviously not calling them out and being like, I realize you have this diagnosis. You meet all of the criteria of narcissistic personality disorder. No, but, you know, I was just, talking to Neva about that, like how to navigate those situations.
How, like when you work with someone. Well, okay, to start off, like I feel like we all, given the nature of the society that we live in, have suffered from some level of anxiety, and then which can go hand in hand with depression, with some level of depression. So I feel like we all have some level of anxiety and some level of depression, where it becomes where it starts to impact how you do your job, and you're not able to manage and cope with it, is where it gets a little dangerous. But So I do have to say, like, even myself with my anxiety and stuff, like, I just need, like, people to just, I mean, as much as it pisses me off, but I need people to just be like, calm the fuck down. Like, which, like, my husband does. Like, he will, like, in the moment it pisses me off, like, you're not being supportive, you're not, like, understanding my feelings and stuff, but it's like, what if he was going there with me too? and you know, and giving me reasons to worry, more reasons to worry, then it would just be like we would both be in a downward spiral. So when I start to, like, get into that, he's like, calm the fuck down. It's not that serious. You're gonna wake up, you're gonna go to work, and you're gonna handle it. Like, that's it. And I'm just like, oh God. But and, like, and I feel like with the group of the team that I work with, like, we're pretty good at doing that for each other, you know? And, like, especially me. Like, I'm not saying, like, I'm good at doing it, but I'm like, but I'll call people, like, not call them out, but I'll just be like, okay, like, what you are afraid to make this phone call to this parent. I'm like, put on your big girl pants, dial the number, and just make the phone call. And some people just need that. Like, you can, like, that push, like, you can do this. You're a grown person.
Yeah.
Do it. And so I feel like we're good at checking each other, but it's hard to do that when you work with people who are, like, not people, but when you have people in your employment who suffer from borderline personality disorder or narcissistic characteristics, then it's kind of like, how do you talk to that person? And we all know a few. How about you, Courtney?
Yeah, it is really hard. Like, there's a lot of, like, weird dynamics and a lot of, like, kind of power struggles that it's just like, why? Literally, why are we doing this? Like, this isn't helpful for anybody. You on your ego power trip, lady. It is toxic, and it's just, I don't know. It's hard to say anything to them, to that, like, type of personality.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is, narcissistic personality is very difficult, and borderline.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
To work with, to deal with. And if you're not, like, regulated yourself, they can take you there. Like, no, seriously, they can. If you don't have, like, if you can't self-regulate, they can. Like, 1 minute they're, like, obsessed with you, the next minute you're a piece of shit. Like, you can go on that ride with them if you don't know, if you're not centered yourself. So it's a very, like, tough
Yeah.
personality disorders to work.
And just like in my, work in a school, but, like, with my coworkers, like, maybe when they, like, someone said something to, like, upset them, we definitely, like, lean on each other. And I feel like I'm constantly saying, like, when we come to each other to vent, it's like, this is them. This is a problem, like, within themselves. Like, let's say it's like a teacher or something that, someone that said something to them to, like, set them off and make them so upset, and then they, like, come to me to, like, kind of vent, but then also, like, am I in the wrong? And it's like, no, like, you're not the only one that has, like, this issue with that person. This is them, so don't take it personal, and just reminding each other of that.
Right. Yeah. Nala just looks so, like, done. I don't even know what to say. She's like
peaceful.
I know.
I'm just trying to nap, Mom. Come on.
I know. She's like, it looks like she's glaring at Courtney, and she's like, if this bitch don't shut the hell up and wrap this up, because I'm trying to sleep.
Or she might be content. She's like, oh, Mom's leaving me alone for a couple minutes. Oh, my God. Oh, Mom.
But yeah, so. But yeah, it is tough. Like, what have you guys found has been like the hardest um diagnosis to work with?
Yeah, I think the personality disorders are just like, you kind of nail it on the head. Like, if you let it get a hold of you, if you let it like really wrestle, like mix you up, it's just it's not good. And a lot of staff, okay, excuse me, thank you. Like, we have like teachers and nurses and other staff that work with us, and they're not as well versed in like personality disorders and things like that, so they definitely get their heads all jumbled and they get all razzled from everything. And so sometimes you have to like talk to the teachers and be like, okay, like this is maybe a better way to handle it, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
But I think because there's really no medication for personality disorders, there's no fix it pill that they could just take and like, oh,
Right.
so
Yeah. Maybe. What about you, Merrick?
Yeah, I'd say the same. Personality disorders, like we talked about, borderline personality disorder, maybe specifically. Personally, I haven't worked with this population much because I don't have like so much interest working with this population, but it has like come up, like substance abuse is just like personally, like that is like for me, a difficult client to work with. Like, part of recovery is relapse, and to me, it's just like accepting that relapse is part of the recovery is difficult. Like, for me, each time, like, even though yes, it's part of the process, like it would just be such a setback and hard for me to accept. So, but I haven't worked much with, that population, but yeah.
All right. I would have to say that, like Courtney was saying, I would have to say the personality disorders are tough because, like I said, if you're not regulated yourself and you are not centered, you can go on that roller coaster ride with them. But also, I would have to go with Merrick too. I think when I became a social worker, I said I would find it very hard to work with people with addiction, with addiction and recovery, because I don't know. It would just be very tough for me because I'd be like, okay, well, you're losing everything. You're losing your family. You lost your job. You have like no money to feed this addiction. Like, just stop it. But it's not that simple, like they can't just stop it, because it is like a chemical imbalance once you start using that substance that happens. And so it's easier said than done. But I just would find that a tough population to work with for me as well.
Yeah, it's like hard to, like, a lot of our work, like we're holding hope for our client and showing them like that hope. And I feel like with that population, like for me personally, as like their therapist, it would be hard to continue to hold that hope.
Right.
That's where I would, get very frustrated.
Right. And even like, I remember before my last employment, depression was hard for me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't. This person's coming in here. They're like all like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And it's like, and I'm like, oh, why don't you go hang out with friends? I don't want to go hang out with friends. But then they're like saying that they're lonely and they feel isolated, but then they're like withdrawing and don't want to hang out with their friends. And I'm just like, come on, And it's like, it just was like, I don't know if I can do this because they're like making me feel depressed because they're like down in the dumps. And then I went through it myself and I'm like, fuck, look at God. Look at him telling me, hey, it happens. And it's not that they don't want to be happy. It's just hard,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that though, Neva, because like that place, of employment where we both work, it was true. Like that was the one time in my life where I felt like, wow, I'm depressed. And it was just like client after client that was coming in, sitting down in our room and just like talking about their depression, one after the other. And it's like, this is affecting me. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's affecting you because you were feeling it too.
Yes, I was like, I have no space for your depression. I'm struggling with my own. Like oh my God. When a kid would come in with some other symptoms, it would be like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh, really? You're engaging in self-harm? Or like something. It's like, oh, wow, tell me about that. Like, it was just like interesting to hear, like.
Leaving your office going, yes, he has self-harm. Oh, yeah. No, that's terrible. But it's
like something else.
Yeah, totally different.
Anxiety or.
Do you guys have any like final words to wrap up Social Work Month and to inspire future social workers or ones already out in the field? Any final things?
I would say, like, I know, like, kind of bitch about the field, but I think that, like I mentioned, I enjoy the work because, like, with this job and this field, like, I am able to help these kids, and like, it's really positive, like, seeing the changes that they've made, seeing their progress, and seeing like their hopefulness. So, because a lot of the kids that come in are there after suicide attempts or suicidal ideation, and so it's pretty scary stuff. And being able to educate the parents and being able to educate the kids and being able to see that progress is really fulfilling. So those positives do outweigh all the other bullshit. But so I think that that's important, to find something that is fulfilling. And I know not every social work position is fulfilling, but I very much appreciate the other social workers at my job, all the social workers that I know, and all the hard work. And it takes really a truly special person, I feel like, to just do this heart-wrenching work day in and day out. So
Special and same thing.
right. It's made us smarter.
Yeah. What about you, Merrick?
Yeah, I think Courtney said it well. Ditto what she said.
Nailed it.
That's what she said. Oh gosh. Yeah, and I would not agree with Courtney. No, I'm kidding. I would agree with Courtney that it does take a special someone, someone who doesn't like money, who doesn't want to be able to pay their bills. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it does take a special someone to be able to do this work like day in and day out, and to get past all the bureaucracy, paperwork, and dumb shit, so that you can really get to the core of the work. When I think about the core of the work, I'm like, that's what I like. It's all the other shit that is annoying and makes the job frustrating,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but thank you, Courtney, for joining us, and let's cheers to March Social Work Month and wrapping it up both ways. Be safe out there. I didn't even see your glass. It disappeared. And Merrick and I will be looking at our comments to see who our winner of our challenge will be. Yes, we did a challenge, people. We'll announce our winner next week. All righty. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Toodles.
Cool.